So, for decades, we believed that the U.S. Navy ruled the silent depths of the sea, unmatched in technology, readiness, and utter deterrence. But as today's shocking reporting will reveal, and some of those hard truths, that assumption is no longer safe to automatically assume. We've let China advance its war machine, all the while we've fallen dangerously behind them. You heard me correctly. Welcome back, Perseverance Pioneers, recording live from our famous dialogue den here in our studio. We're so glad to have you with us once again. So today we deep dive literally and strategically into one of the most alarming shifts in modern military history. And we have a lot to unpack here for all of our Perseverance Pioneers today. The rise of China's submarine fleet and the decline of America's dominance. So let's talk about the silent financial Cold War. There is an AI arms race out there. We know another aspect, part of it, of the warfare piece of this financial Cold War, this tariff conflict. So let's start with the facts. And the facts are very stubborn things for all of our Perseverance Pioneers out there. You all know this. China is building submarines faster than we are, quite frankly, much faster. They've moved from outdated diesel boats, yes, they still exist, to fleets of nuclear-powered attack submarines. We're talking about China here. The kind that can stock carriers, more importantly, aircraft carriers, our aircraft carriers, launch long-range cruise missiles, and remain hidden for months under the radar. You can reference defense.gov for some of the statistics and things I'm going to read to you right now to back up anything that we're telling you. So, according to the 2023 military and security developments involving the People's Republic of China, or AKA the Chinese Communist Party, this is the annual report to Congress. This report included data on China's naval capabilities, where they are in their modernization of their forces and their readiness. It estimates that China will have about 65 submarines by 2025, basically completing that this year, and projects that growth to about 80 submarines by the year 2035. Wow. So they're unveiling new classes, even new types of submarine, the type 095 attack sub, fighter, Lear, and their class diesel boats now use advanced air-dependent propulsion. So not only are they advancing and building submarines faster, they're building more complex ones as well. So meaning they can stay underwater longer without surfacing, which goes into their deterrence and their stealth. So almost as stealthy as nuclear attack subs. You heard that correctly. Our nuclear attack subs in coastal waters. Meanwhile, the U.S., we still have the best technology by far. Virginia-class nuclear subs with unmatched stealth and firepower. But here's the issue, and we want to get into it. The issue is our fleet is shrinking. Our boats are aging. Maintenance backlogs keep subs tied up at dockyards for months, even years. And our shipyards are simply not ready for this type of production to match the Chinese Communist Party in their submarine production at the pace that China is turning them out. China, they are the Chinese Communist Party. It's what they do. They build and build its war machine more and more. Let's leave out who gives them a good significant part of tax dollars to their debt, us. But in other words, our edge is eroding slowly and fast, faster than ever before. And in the cold, dark, unforgiving world beneath the waves, speed of the production of these types of technologies and war equipment really matters. But we're asking ourselves, how did we get so far behind leading the world in military technology, which we are with technology? How did we fall so far behind? Well, if that didn't wake you up, now let's examine how we fell behind. So basically, let's get into basically all the complacency that happened. After the Cold War, America's defense planners assumed our undersea dominance was basically permanent. We shifted our focus to land wars, of course, in the Middle East. And where did that focus get us? Hats off to all the brave soldiers and men who gave it all to fight for Operation Iraqi Freedom. But where did all that get us? Also, in the complacency piece, let's get into the industrial neglect. Our shipyards are stretched to the breaking point, and even far beyond that. Some submarines spend years, I'm telling you, years waiting for repairs. Meanwhile, in China, they mobilize its massive commercial shipyard and shipping industry, converting capacity to all military ends, leaving nothing on the table. Basically, in addition to the complacency and the underutilization of the industrial standards we need to make these submarines, we underestimated China's ambition for global dominance. For years, U.S. intelligence has completely dismissed China's military projects as second-rate, clunky copies of Russian designs. It's not the way it is anymore, and they are becoming more advanced by the day. Beijing has poured resources, manpower, and technology at no end into bridging that gap and closing it very fast, sharply. While America's projects are still underway, projects power worldwide from Europe to the Middle East to China, all this, everything happening, has concentrated almost entirely on one region, the Western Pacific. Taiwan, the South China Sea, the first island chain. Their subs don't need to roam the globe. They just need the ability to dominate their own backyard, and that is going to be such an advantage. And that backyard, mind you, is where our credibility, Pacific power, is now being tested, it's being challenged, and more importantly, it's going to be potentially stomped on. And I don't think we can ever allow that to happen. Never. It could never be a realm of possibility. But these are the consequences we find ourselves. This is where we find ourselves. So why does this matter? So why should you, a perseverance pioneer, one of our great listeners, care about submarines? Some may go, John, why do I need to care about this stuff? I like the motivation of the channel. I like all the other aspects of it, all the education. Well, just because they're not just about ships under sea. These are our ultimate tools of United States power, deterrence. In this financial Cold War, we need to be paying attention. We need to know what is happening in the world. Our utter global survivor, our utter global survivor depends on it. So a recent Gallup poll, U.S. adults saying China's military power is a critical threat. About 67% of U.S. adults say China's military power is a critical threat to the United States and its vital interests. A record high in that Gallup measure. So what is that telling you about what people are thinking of everything that's happening in our world today? Also, another poll from a recent Ronald Reagan Institute survey, more than 80%, mind you, more than 80% of Americans say they are worried about China's military buildup. Well, I would be. 36% are kind of somewhat concerned, and 46 plus are extremely concerned. Wouldn't you be? That totals around 82% being concerned to some degree of everything that's happening in our hyper-connected world. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. As we've got complacent and viewed China as a pushover, which we did, and it was a grave mistake, we allowed them to grow their influence if China controls the Pacific silent depths, the oceans. Here's what will happen. Mark it on your calendar. They can choke off Taiwan, cutting supply lines before a shot is even fired. And will they even need to fire a shot if they're able to cripple more supply lines? They can also threaten U.S. aircraft carriers, yes, you heard that correctly, which are the backbone of American naval power. Not a good sign. It wouldn't be the brightest idea, but you have to remember China has a 100-year plan. They're not going off of 5, 10, 15 years. No, 100 years plan. They always think years, decades from now, more long term. They can also project nuclear deterrence from hidden bastions, hidden places outside of the norm, making it harder to stop them from striking anywhere in the world. It's not a kind of threat that you want to take lightly or kind of leave on the back burner somewhere. Kind of needs to be taken, I don't know, very seriously. And perhaps most dangerously, they can erode ally confidence. Japan, Australia, the Philippines, they all rely on the United States of America to keep sea lanes open. They may hedge toward Beijing instead of Washington. So if we aren't able to keep those seas open for our trading partners and allies, what is that going to signal to the rest of the world? This just isn't about submarines. If you tuned in an episode just about submarines, this is way beyond that. It's about the balance of power, the global balance of power. It's about freedom of navigation. It's about whether the U.S. will remain the leader, mind you, of the free world, or watch China dictate the rules, or watch China get ahead of the AI arms race, or watch China slowly become the more global dominant power. Will they set the rules of the sea and finally get close to China's end goal of global domination? They seek to replace the United States, not be a partner or ally with us. They want to replace us with them at the core. What must be done? Now, we can still turn this around, but after everything we've laid out, it's not going to be easy. This is something that's been building up for decades. America first must rebuild that industrial base that we lost so many years ago. That means more shipyard capacity, more skilled workforces, and more steel in the water, frankly. That's how you win. Secondly, we need to accelerate the technology. We're doing so much in the world of AI and artificial intelligence and just, all of that to put us in the position to beat China. Unmanned, basically underwater vehicles, AI-driven sonar detection, quieter propulsion systems, and longer-range missiles, of course, the weapons of war, to get us that edge. Third, we must strengthen alliances around the globe. A lot of these deals and pacts, alliances like NATO with the UK is a start, but it's moving too slow. We need joint exercises with our partners and allies to be able to deter anything else from happening, shared basing rights and co-production of advanced systems to helpfully deter all enemies. And finally, we need a punch in the arm when it comes to the political will to stop what we see happening. Congress must stop playing games with defense budgets and every year of a delay or a shutdown. Every year, when we do that, Beijing surges ahead, because they don't have to go through that bureaucracy. This is not a call for war. It's a call for readiness, call for responsibility. It's a call to preserve peace through strength while there is a new axis of evil that is forming between Russia, China, and India, even North Korea as of lately, which is basically an anti-America, anti-Western civilization alliance. Call a spade. That's what it is. So how does this tie into our podcast? How does this tie into our message as Perseverance Pioneers? We always bring current events to the forefront to keep all of our listeners informed. Perseverance Pioneers, this show is about mindset, mission, and never losing your momentum. So let's take a step back and just digest everything we've just heard. What's the mindset lesson here? The mindset lesson here is complacency kills in anything in life, whether it's in life, business, or on the global stage. When you hesitate and when you lay back and when you assume your position is unshakable and it'll always be unshakable, that's when someone hungrier, a worthy opponent who is more disciplined and more determined, takes your place. Complacency truly kills. So what is the mission? The mission is, in this instance, is recommitment. America must recommit to its role as defender of freedom. Not just in words, but in steel, the actions that drive deterrence. In ships, in resolve, and the momentum behind all this starts now, starts with awareness, it starts with urgency, and of course the action, and with the courage to act before it is utterly too late to stop any of this. We're already behind. We can't wait any longer. As we close this episode out, remember this. The silent depths of the ocean may decide the future, mind you, the future of the free world. It's no easy task. It's no easy feat. And China has advanced its war machine, as it's been doing for decades. And we have fallen very behind. But if history teaches us anything out there, if it teaches us anything at all, leave everything behind. That when America truly wakes up, when we focus, open our eyes, and when we commit to a goal, when we persevere, we can out-innovate, out-build, and out-lead anyone in the free world. The question is, will we truly wake up in time? Thanks for watching, Perseverance Pioneers. For this vital conversation, the Perseverance Mindset Podcast is your go-to to stay on top of many topics like this. Good night, everyone.